10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for the look ahead to the big game at 3 o'clock tomorrow. I've got Cole, Leeds fan, in the background. I do believe, hopefully, going to have Lindsay and Mauro coming on, and maybe Gary as well. All depends about dropping kids off and all this sort of stuff. And Mauro, as always, doesn't have enough charge on his phone, so he's having to charge his phone to make sure he doesn't, end the show too early. So before I bring Cole in, though, we're just going to go through the usual stuff. There's the link if you would like to become a member today. It's entirely up to yourselves. 99p. Get added into draws, and we are looking to get some tickets on Monday, I think it is. The tickets go on sale, or on Tuesday for the game on the 10th, and we'll be giving them away to some lucky members. If we get them, fingers crossed. Mig says, evening all, welcome, enjoy the chat, like, subscribe, and become a member for 99p. How are the lads? Davey says, good evening, Davey. Mauro Award tomorrow, as always. Hi, Barrett, you're on me tally more than Everdale. Yes, we've made it. Everdale's on every day. What extras do I get for... I love it, Andrew. Good evening, brother. Good to see you again. Thanks, Leslie. Good evening, Bazza. It just pings when you're on Canny. I love it, Ian. It's the best way to do it. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, set notifications to all, and everything comes up when we're live. Good evening from my sick bed, Blade. I hope you get well soon, mate. Hi, mate. Got a few seconds to spare. Going to watch later on when the Ben's asleep. Glad the Ben's getting better, Les. I really am. Right, let's bring Carl in. Good evening, Carl. Thanks for joining us on the last minute.
Yeah, no, thanks again, Bazza. This was like a year ago.
Like it was.
We did. It just a year ago, just under a year ago. But you got me again, so I appreciate it.
I completely forgot you were on. It was like long ago, and I've not been on Twitter enough to. Well, I have been on Twitter a lot, but just not been thinking about the games ahead.
Yeah,
and then they all come thick and fast, don't they? It's like, crap, we got Arsenal on bloody the second. I've got to sort that out as well.
I know. Games coming thick and fast, certainly after the World Cup. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting end to the season. It really is in May.
Yes. I am definitely looking forward to it. But this is why we're here. We're obviously talking about 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. And this is our closest rivalry now. Now that Sunderland and Middlesbrough are in the Championship and have been for a while. You guys have been in the Premier League a couple of years now, which is good. I always find the Newcastle Leeds game an unbelievable atmosphere at St.James Park. And you guys come in your thousands and always sing. So it should be an interesting travels for the fans tomorrow.
It is going to be interesting again for both sets of teams and the fans as well. It's always a huge game, and I like the rivalry. Yes, I know we're close to Manchester, but when we go to Newcastle, 3,000 fans turn up, and it makes a huge atmosphere. Let me tell you that.
It does. I love it. Unfortunately, I remember when you guys had Chris Wood and he scored in the last minute when we were in the Championship together, and it broke my heart a little bit, that goal.
Yeah.
It really did. Top by Fifth Blade. Hi, lads. And cheers, matey. Hello, Bazza. There's loads of people. Lee's became a member recently. Thank you, Lee, for that, by the way. And we have a new member in tonight as well. He wanted to know how to donate, but instead he's become a member, which is even better. If anyone wants to donate tonight, you can. It's the $ in the bottom right-hand corner in the chat section. You click on it, pound, anything. It really helps, but, it's entirely up to yourselves. But thank you for that. Right, I want to talk about your manager because... Mr. March has done himself no favours today with the Newcastle faithful. I don't know if you saw his interview or not, but he just thinks it's money that's made Newcastle such a dominating team at the moment in the first 14 games. It's not 15 games for us, 16 because they've got 15. So that's what he said. And it's like, you shouldn't have said that.
Listen, I get what he's trying to say, but it was probably not the right way to say it. To be quite honest with you, Bazza, I didn't watch the press conference, but I did see the transcript of it and what he said, and I thought to myself, thinking, it's not just about the money; it's about what Eddie Howe's is brought into the club. Is what he's brought into the club over the last 12 months, which has been critical for Newcastle, because the way you all guys were going, under Matt Ashley was terrible. I'm thinking a team like Newcastle should be competing for the top 6 every season, not competing down to the bottom half of the table. So I think Eddie Howe should deserve a huge credit. I give credit to Eddie Howe for what he's done at Newcastle, getting players like Joe Linton, who's not good at forward, playing in a good midfield, and Miguel Amor scored 9 goals this season as well. So there's been a huge factor change that the Newcastle do believe a lot more now. They can fight for the top 6 and probably even for the Premier League as well in the next year or two as well, even though they are second at the moment. It's interesting to see further. So it's interesting to see how Eddie Howe's going to be there with his long-term vision.
Oh, it's mental, mate. It really is. As a Newcastle fan, very quickly, Les, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. It's absolutely amazing, and the same for Andrew, who's popped in $1 there. Unbelievable stuff. Like I say, even if it's 50p, it doesn't matter. It all adds up. Leicester winning 1-0 against Liverpool. Come on, Leicester. Put Liverpool to the sword, and then we'll take your players off you and become even better. I think you are right. He did actually say in his interview, and it's the way it's come across. He did say he's not taking any credit away from Eddie Howe, but you kind of are when you say it's money and we're in a position we're not with FFP. We're not in a position to go out and spend like Chelsea are, for example, at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If we were in Chelsea's position, we probably would have spent 500 million by now, but we can't because we've got our hands tied.
Yeah.
Which is annoying.
It's annoying, but he should not have said that, because you are regulated in the best financial restrictions. So you are doing quite well with that. So you are going to make more revenue over the next couple of years' time. So I wouldn't be worried about that too much.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it too much, but Gibbon, thank you so much for the super sticker as well, a member and a donation. It's absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, I'm not worried about it. It's just, do you know when you get the richest owners in the world and you think, let's do a Man City? When you can't, it's like,
yeah.
Kevin's asked a good question there, and it's a good one to ask you. How do you sum up Leeds' season so far in 2022?
Ooh. There was a lot of it well, the situation was we didn't know what to expect the first few games, actually, and to be quite honest with you, I thought the win against Wolves was a bit of a fluke, but winning against Chelsea, we did press them. Chelsea was not in the right place at the time. Then we went on a bit of a slump, actually. We just think we was conceding too many goals, really did, and we didn't know how much the fans was going to be on the situation. Especially we did get a proper strike it in towards the end of the summer transfer window.
Yeah.
With and because Bamford's out injured again, we needed an out striker. We couldn't get Papa Dieng from Marseille due to his medical issues. And then we got Willie Ngonto, who we've been linked about for most of the summer, and then we just kind of struggled a bit. We should have got a draw against Arsenal. We should have got. Either something, Arsenal game was something we could have got. The Fulham game was a bit of a mess. We should have been better against that. But we did turn our fortunes around against Liverpool, and I think that was surprising how we pressed Liverpool.
I enjoyed that game.
I really enjoyed it. It was the best game I ever watched, and also beating Bournemouth, where we were so poor in the first half. In the second half came good, and we should have got a draw against Spurs. So our 2022 has been a bit of a mix. We've had good ones, but it's been more bad. Same issues. We need to be better with our defense. That's been our issue we have at the moment this season.
Yeah, there's a couple of more questions coming for you. What do you make of Chris Wood being linked back to Leeds? Would you take him?
It's an interesting one because I've been hearing about this, and I know he did score goals. He did score really important goals, and he was a very good goal scorer for a few seasons. I don't know, and that's another question. I think what the Leeds average squad, I think it's about 23, 24 at least. So I don't know if we could take him back. He may be better than Bamford, but someone like Rodrigo can actually score goals this season. we might be fine, but we are looking for a striker who's in that fits that range of that age that we want. I don't know. Chris will be the viable option. Maybe as a backup, yes, but I don't think as a regular starter. No.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely someone. I mean, Bamford's always injured, isn't he? Like True Outline says there, he's not around as much. So you are richly relying on Rodrigo, who was. I mean, he's put a lot of doubters to bed, hasn't he, this season? Because last season he couldn't hit a barn door. This season, under March, he seems to have got the right tactics for him, and he seems to be, as the number 9 rather than a number 10, doing a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when he came to Leeds, Marcel Bielsa originally was put him as a right midfielder to replace Pablo Hernandez. That was a long-term replacement, which didn't work. And I think just in match thinking he's more better as a striker up front. And I think that's worked well. We're seeing that difference now. So no, I'm glad that Marsh realised that there was a bit of like his strength is more up front than playing in the midfield because he can't get the best out of him sometimes, and he could hit a barn door last season. He's now has done, a bit more better. He was like determination for that huge fee that he came the season before.
It was a big fee, but I just don't think he had the legs as a right winger in the Premier League. He wasn't fast enough, and he didn't seem to have the energy.
No,
like Rafinha and you mentioned Hernandez were always running. They were always at you. Where Rodrigo likes to be that number 9, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Welcome, Lindsay! Yay! You kind of deserve the Mara Award for being late. There you go.
Yay! I'm watching the football.
I thought I could. Yeah, I can't hear it. That's good. I did hear it. Now I can't hear it, which is good. 1-0 Leicester.
Yeah, I know. It was a good goal as well. Really good goal.
Good. Yeah. That helps us a lot. Meg, thank you so much. The £2, that's absolutely generous as anything. It really is. Like I said, it all adds up, and we don't ask for a lot on this channel, but what we do get, we do and reinvest it back into the channel. We try and give money to charity as best as we can. £877 this year we did for charity. So, and Les has become a member as well. So thank you, Les, for doing that. I think you've rejoined. I know you were a member in the past. Cole, we're going to bore you a little bit now. We've talked a lot about Leeds. With Lindsay here, we're just going to talk a little bit about Newcastle now and what's been in the news. So I apologise, but we will get your input on it as well. First of all, Eddie Howe is the first English manager to win more than 20 Premier League matches in a single year in the 21st century. Lindsay, I ran out of superlatives to talk about him.
Oh, well, I just love Eddie Howe. I think even his biggest doubters now have got no choice but to just acknowledge him, really.
You've got
as being the manager that he is. Yeah, it's absolutely unreal. And people are saying the form's going to drop off. And hey, even if we do have a slight dip in form, I'm finding it quite hard to believe because this has been our form since January.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They just have not slowed down. They've just gotten better. So
all
credit to Eddie and Jason Tyndall, the unsung hero, because he does all the dirty work, doesn't he?
He does, and he doesn't get the accolades he deserves sometimes, does he? Mind you, in that winning picture in the changing room, he looked like he was getting something, so we won't go into that again, though. Cole, what have you made of Eddie Howe at Newcastle? It's obviously been a year now. He's breaking all the records. We could be doing a magnificent 7 potentially tomorrow. I know you don't want to hear that, but I don't think we've ever won 7 in a row, to be honest with you. So it's pretty exciting times. But as Eddie Howe, what have you made him as an English manager? Is he breaking the mold again?
I think he is breaking the ball. It's been a long time coming, actually. Eddie Howe could have made it, could have been a Celtic manager a year ago, to be frankly honest, and he didn't work out well because due to the fact that he wanted more control of the transfer, and the board would not accept that. I think he made the right move of not going to Celtic and going to Newcastle, and we need more English managers. We need that pool to come through now because it's been the last couple of years we have declined a bit on English managers. We need to be get more income because if we're going to talk about the future about who's going to be the English manager, we need that pool of talent managers that's coming through and can really do well. And Fed say someone like Gary O'Neill, who's not going to be English manager, but we're now seeing another English manager at Bournemouth for how he's done well to steady the ship.
Cooper.
Yeah. So to be quite honest with you, we do need more English managers. I think Eddie Howe is breaking that mold. And that's a good start record. I think a lot of he deserves a lot of applause for that, because especially after what happened at Bournemouth, we didn't know where his next job was going to be.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the English managers that have come through, the Steven Gerrards, the Lampards, they've sort of done all right, but then faltered, lost the jobs. It's quite interesting. I mean, there's obviously the Forest manager as well. He was looking good in the Championship, but now he's in the Premier League, and they've signed 24 players. They're not doing as well as everyone expected. So it's an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah.
You wonder how much of those players was his decision.
Oh, none of them.
I think a lot of it was really over his head, to be honest with you. Bless him.
I agree with that. We've got to talk about this man, because Poppy is top of the clean sheets this season, and if he gets another one tomorrow, he'll then go to 9. Can you imagine if he gets one over on Ramsdale as well on the second when we're playing them at the Emirates? Would be amazing, Lindsay.
That would be really good, wouldn't it? It would be unreal. I think there'd be absolutely no argument if Nick Pope keeps this form up for him becoming England's number 1, to be honest with you. I don't think they're going to have any choice if he keeps this up, to be honest. But you've also got to give a lot of credit to the back four, to be honest with you, because they leave him with very little to do. But you can't take away from how sharp Nick Pope is all game. Even though he doesn't have a lot to do, his concentration just never wavers. If it does, it's one in a million, when he might be caught unawares, because he's human, but otherwise he's just unbelievable. It's like he's got 20 arms, isn't it?
He's definitely not got dinosaur arms, has he?
No. Poor Pickford.
Poor Pickford. There's a quick question for you, Carl, before we carry on talking about Pope. Do you think Eddie Howe has what it takes to win the Premier League, either now or in the future?
I think he does, both now and the future, just over Graham Potter completely now. I think that is a huge change. I think Eddie Howe could be there for a lot more than 5-10 years at Newcastle, to be honest with you, at the current range at the moment. And I think he will win a lot more trophies. I just see the mold that he's trying to put. He's trying to build a legacy. What Sir Alex Ferguson done at Man United. I think he's trying to build a legacy at Newcastle once more infrastructure comes in, and getting the youth development up as well, up to the likes of PSG, Man City, and Barcelona. I think he has got what it takes to win the Premier League, both now and the future.
Amazing. Isn't it great, Lindsay, to speak to someone who's sensible? And it's a Leeds fan as well. It's amazing.
To be fair, Leeds are a proper fan base. I've always had a soft spot for Leeds. I always have.
It's a good rivalry.
Because I grew up in Grimsby as well, which wasn't too far away. I spent a few of my dad's from Grimsby, you see, so I am very privy to some of the rivalries over that way.
Yeah, I like I said, Lindsay, I grew up in Huddersfield, and the rivalries with the West Yorkshire clubs and Sheffield United, Barnsley, Sheffield
Grimsby
Wednesday.
and Lincoln.
Yeah, I know. Same as well. Yeah, I know. So it is what it is. Yeah, and like I said, I do like because I have family, got nephews who are in the football team in Newcastle now and play for junior football teams, so they're doing quite well. So,
that's good.
Yeah, it is good. So they're really doing quite well. So do you know what? So I always have a bit of a soft spot for Newcastle the way. I'm not gonna lie. So
I love it. I don't think we can win the league this season, but I think for the push for next season, we need a few solid players with Champions League experience, but 30 million max, as we will need 200 million plus next summer. It's going to be an interesting summer. It really is. That seems pretty shocking to me. He finally got the owners to spend some cash. No small achievement. Ask Carl if he thinks Harrison will stay at Leeds after January.
This has been a difficult question. Harrison, he's been more cold than hot this season, and I don't know what I know. During after what happened, last season, he had to be the one to score the winner to keep us up. But you have players such as Ngonto, Somerville, Greenwood are really coming through the ranks and now coming to prove themselves. Harrison's got
Somerville's a player.
Exactly, and a lot of people have talked about Somerville that thinking he should have got more games under Bielsa last season, but he's now getting more games now. And I think now Harrison's positions on the threat on the starting 11, he's not going to get a guaranteed spot. So I think for that why there's been questions about Harrison, but I think Harrison will stay. He's got that good relationship with Leeds at the moment. I can't see him leaving in January. I think we do have his contract for at least another 2 more years. So we do need to see if he can prove himself towards the end of the season. We might time now for another contract extension. We will see. Time will tell.
Yeah, because we were very interested in him at one point, but it seemed to died off with the fee that you were asking for, which again, to your play, you can ask for what you want. And this is what I keep saying to all Liverpool fans about Brighton's players. It's what it's worth to Brighton, not what you want to pay, and they need to get used to that, don't they?
Exactly.
I think Thuram and Tielemans are young. Thuram, CDM, to try and push for those 15 wins we need to get top 4. They would be 3 good players. Liverpool players have dived better than Tom Daly. I'm not watching the game personally myself. I've actually got the darts on, to be honest with you.
What's going to be funny to watch, Baz, is as the game goes on, because we know how stubborn Leicester can be if they really do want to sit in, is how much further the dives go. Because they are diving around quite a bit here, but the way Leicester defenders are diving in, they're kind of allowing for it, you know.
Right. Ooh,
but I don't know. I do think. Hang on, let's see. Does he catch?
Let's see how they deal with the time waste.
No, it's a dive. He didn't even touch Elliot. He actually didn't touch him. Oh, he should be booked for simulated. Oh, the little cheats. But this will progress. This is gonna be quite interesting to watch how much diving we're gonna get. And how much extra time at the end of the first half too.
Yeah, that as well. Migs, to answer your question, it's innocent until proven guilty, so he's allowed to still carry on working until he's proven. This is about Tony and he's betting and all that sort of stuff. To be honest, I don't know. Port was so good before you arrived. I have doubts. We were signing a keeper in the summer. I was in favour of Dubs back then. I mean, I was, and when I heard we were getting Pope, I was like, well, there's not much difference between them, but he's. I always said he's a great shot stopper. It was his distribution that I was worried about because he played for Burnley. But he's proven that wrong as well. So he's stepped up a level. Who's playing in the darts bars? Hope Dobie gets all the way. So Dobie's beaten Cross 3-2 at the moment in sets and 2-1 in legs. But it looks like it's about to go 2-2 in legs. Ask Colin if he was under threat of getting relegated, would you take Steve? No, I'm not going to ask him that.
No, absolutely not. No.
You're taking him back. I'm telling you, not one person. I don't know what he's done there. Oh, he's left 28. I'm going to ask you about, obviously, you mentioned Miggy earlier about the goals that he's scoring. You know, we've got goals everywhere, which is what's really impressed me this season. So Miggy's got 9, Wilson's got 6, Bruno's got 3, Wood's got 3. And I believe that's Joelinton and Willock have got 2 each. Now, last season, we were relying on Callum Wilson to score 10, 12 goals to get us points. And now, Lindsay, they've been shared around, and it's amazing to see those statistics, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I love the fact that every single time we're scoring, it's not just the same goal scorer. You know, I see a lot of people saying we need someone more reliable. We need this. We don't just need one person who's able to score goals, because if we've got a team filled with goal threat, the teams are just going to get overwhelmed by us. And at times you do see, especially our midfield, just absolutely running the show. You know, with Bruno in the middle, he's just absolute class. Like that, you know, the bit of skill to get Miggy onto his goal the other day, you know, unbelievable. And you've heard, I've already gone on about the Trippier and Miggy connection on that right-hand side.
Yeah.
And just that small triangle. Oh my God. I always say I saw it in pre-season when we were playing Benfica. When Miggy scored that goal, I was like, this is going to be Miggy's season. If him and Trippier carry on that way and get better, my God. And here we are, you know, and I just think Miggy's learning.
I've got a big smile on my face.
Trippier. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant. And to be honest with you, Chris Wood still gets a hard time. I do hope people start softening to him, because he is such a hard worker, you know, and there's not many people I've seen step up and take penalty kicks the way he does.
Oh, he takes a good pen.
In the pressure and things like that at the minute, you know, he is faultless every single time when he takes his penalties, to be honest. I think there's more to come from Chris Wood.
Yep, I agree. Right, I see it's Casado on the transfer list because papers are going mad saying DOF wants him in the first team. Yes, he did. Doesn't mean we're going to get him though, because he's big wages. So it all depends on what we've got FFP wise and stuff like that. I have also seen somewhere, I think it was in one of our groups, Lindsay, where we won't really be doing any deals about FFP because of FFP until we've sorted Bruno's contract out. Because Bruno, I think, has somewhere in his new contract, along with Trippier, and I think it's Maxi or maybe Joel Linton or someone like that. If whoever becomes the highest paid player, they all become the highest paid player as well. So then that pushes your FFP up. So I think they're waiting to see what Bruno goes to first before they decide on what they're doing. Updating the Darts, Dorby beat Cross 4-2. That's a great win for Dorby. Local lad as well. It's always what we want. Casado wanted by the Toon. Andy B. New Kane, perhaps. Oh, no, I wouldn't go that far. Davey wanted the free. Right. So before we go into our teams that we've put up, these are the potential injuries and doubts. So Newcastle, Paul Dummett, Craffen, John Joe Shelby are definitely missing. Isaac doubtful. We know he's not playing. Callum Wilson, however, I have heard he will make the bench. He is pushing for a start, but I don't think Eddie Howe's going to risk him. For Leeds, you've got Dallas out. Is that Sinistria out? And Bamford doubtful again. So, Cole, we'll go for your team first. This is what you put up. Do you want to just talk us through it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll probably keep with most of the same thing. I think Tyler Adams going back from his suspension, which is good, which is a huge boost. What Rodrigo and I'm going to will play on the left, and Rodrigo will play up front. I think that is probably the same squad. I think Chris, what we have, Strike will still continue as left back. We've still got an issue with our left back position because I know Junior Firpo is not being faring much with Jesse March at the moment. So I think this is just one change with Tyler Adams coming back in for Adam Forshaw. So I think it's still mostly the same team that we play against Man City.
Where's the danger for us? I think Somerville, personally, rather than Rodrigo. I think Somerville's an excellent player.
Yeah, I think Somerville is going to be the dangerous threat. I think he can play on both wings as well, so on both sides of the wings as well. So that will be an interesting how Trippier and Target can try to man mark Somerville off the ball and on the press as well. So it is going to be interesting now, but I think Somerville could be a dangerous threat. If Ngonto with his same height as Somerville, he can sprint around all over the Newcastle defense as well. I think there's a chance from Somerville, and I think having our two usual defensive midfielder pairing, Adams and Rocker, is huge. We needed that anyway because that's one thing. Them two have a really good partnership since they both joined the club this summer.
Awesome, Lindsay. Where are you worried with Leeds? Does any of the front three, front four worry you?
To be honest with you, I'm a very big fan of Aronson. I like his energy. To be honest with you, I like his work rate. Like he's up and down that pitch, and he's always looking to make things happen. The only issue is sometimes, obviously, the end product, which is the problem with Rodrigo at times, the consistency. But I find Aronson to be quite a threat because no matter where he is on the pitch, he's always looking to drive the ball up the field, and he's got just endless energy. So I think he'll be a good challenge for our defenders, to be honest. With his energy and work rate.
Yeah. Two high pressing teams. It's going to be interesting who comes out on top in that sense. So this is, I've gone with an unchanged team because I have heard ASM has been playing really well in training, but Eddie likes to stick with the same team if he can. Obviously, Wood's meant to be up there, not Wilson. That's my fault. So Wood should be starting, and Wilson and Maxi on the bench. Would you risk ASM, Lindsay? I want to see him as an impact player. I want to see what he's like up from the subs bench when we're, because Leeds are going to tire in the second half. I do believe our fitness is better, and that's where ASM could really come on and just boom, go at them. Yeah,
I can't see Joe dropping from the left-hand side in any way. It's not after he scored that header last week, and he was unlucky not to get a second one, to be honest, as well. So I do agree with having Maxi as more of an impact sub because I do find, especially because he is tracking back a lot more now, and that seems to be where he's picking up his injuries, So I think he needs to just be gradually molded into that press situation and just given a bit of time here and there, to be honest, because he is a big player for us to have out entirely. So having Maxi on the bench makes me feel better than not having Maxi at all, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's options for a change, isn't it? This is what I like, that we haven't had for a while. I'm just going to play a very short video because it will take us out of the sound. But this is basically how the Newcastle press works, and I saw this on Twitter, and it's absolutely brilliant. So this is why Newcastle are so good at the moment, because this is our tactics basically in a nutshell. So I'm going to play it now. Can we still talk? Can you still hear us? But you can see there, because I have muted the sound on the thing, hopefully. You can see with the press, it's how it starts. So it's, if the ball goes out to the left-hand side, you've got one player pressing, and you've got Wood going to the middle. It makes it harder for them to get the ball back to the goalkeeper. If they try to switch it to the other side, you then got Miggy who presses, then you've got Sean Longstaff, who's the second press. And they're always there, compact, and it's so cleverly done, isn't it, Lindsay? It's not rocket science, it's like chess, really, in a way. But they do it so well as a team.
It is. It's like a big game of chess. I mean, like you say, when you watch us, they're moving the ball from the left to the right, the organised press that there is. But there's also that wide player like Miggy out there who makes them feel like they've got that option. And then as soon as they think they've got the option, he is there, ready to cut off any player they've got out on the wide. And by the time they've got the ball at the feet and controlled, Miggy's on the press, then Longstaff's in the press, and it's just phenomenal. It's brilliant to watch the, work rate, and I'm glad to see Sean Longstaff getting a bit of praise and credit now, to be honest with you, because I know, did you hear them chanting he's one of our own as he went off against Leicester? I'm not lying, Baz, right? I teared up.
Yeah.
And then my partner was sat next to me playing on the Switch, and I was sat there like, you can't see you're getting welled up about this, man. That's silly. So I was just trying to but I did. I welled up for him because I went to the same school as him, He's a local lad, and it's just unbelievable. Like, I'm so happy to see him.
Especially what he's been through as well. I don't know if you saw the thread, if you read it, about his dark times and about how he broke down in front of his dad and all this sort of stuff. And massive shout out to Matt Ritchie again for what he did. Obviously, getting a psychiatrist number and saying to Sean, look, you've got to ring this guy. And it just shows you how much of a unit they are together, and it's amazing. And Longstaff has improved so much. And again, there was a player there. It was just he got bruised. He didn't want to play football under Bruce, and he was struggling. So it's difficult. It's difficult. So let's just go where Riff Raff come from. Bruno's saying every player deserves a match award was me. Weird thing with the club shop, my son wanted St. Maximum on the shirt, but the name doesn't fit. You'd think the club would have smaller letters for kid sizes, missing a market and stream there. Oh, that's a good point, actually. I'm just going to put this back up for you, Col. Is obviously Wilson doesn't start. It will be Wood. It's what I've been told. I don't know why I've ended up doing that. It's kids, tired, long day. So who are you worried about? Is it Miggy, who's obviously scored 9 so far this season, or is it Bruno running the midfield and he's not getting a look in?
I would say both Miggy and Bruno. I think more Miggy than Bruno. Miggy's done quite well this season. I'm very surprised how when he came from Atlanta United from 2018-19. I thought he was a good player. It just would it work at Newcastle for him? But he seemed to turn it around, and I think he's been more threatening on the right side. And that partnership with Trips as well, I'm not going to lie to you, it's been a very good, perfect partnership. I think I've not seen that for a while, not for since that Liverpool with Setier and also Mane on that right side.
Yeah.
But this is the best partnership on the right hand side I've seen right now in the Premier League, the best duo I've seen it right now, and I think it's just worked well of that, of Trips being an experienced player to help Miggy settle more into being more himself, because we're not seeing Miggy like that since when he was scoring goals for fun in the MLS, So he has been a huge turnaround since Trips come in last season.
Yeah, Trips and Bruno, having that relationship with the three of them, because Bruno does like to wander over to the right-hand side quite a lot to help out, and they seem to have a great understanding. And he's basically, Bruno and Trips have unlocked the real Miggy. And that's the Miggy I've been waiting to see since he joined. And he showed glimpses of it under Rafa because he had a good understanding with Rondon and Perez. But as soon as Bruce came in, that's just when things went to pot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What's this one? Muggy not only score goals, he scores beauties. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he scored some absolute hurlers this season. So that's enough about the teams and the players. Let's have a look see who the referee is. It's Simon Hooper. He's only had 58 appearances in the Premier League. He averages 3 yellow cards a game. He's given away 2 reds so far and 10 penalties. In the Championship, his cards were a bit higher. Obviously, trebled the amount of games, but 18 red cards in the Championship. That's a big jump from 2 to 18. When you treble the games, you would think maybe 8 red cards, but 18 is quite a lot, and 39 penalties as well. So maybe everyone's going to have to keep their feet firmly on the ground in the penalty box. No diving in tomorrow, otherwise, you'd be pointing to the spot. And he's actually 40, so he's not an old referee either. He does look old in his picture, to be fair, but that's just me being a little bit rude to the bald man, I guess. But are you worried about the referee, Carl? Do you know much about him?
Yeah, I do. I know this season there's really so much indisciplines in the Championship this season, which I've been very surprised because I've been watching a lot of games in the Championship, and there's been some incidents where he's had to try to control the game, and some of the games got out of hand. So for him doing this season, only had 2 red cards, but 8 in the Championship, which is very surprising for those teams who are really can be indisciplined in some certain circumstances, but. It is a bit of a. But we have to keep our discipline. Both teams need to keep the discipline, quite straight, 100% efficient tomorrow, because we can't have another player getting sent off again. That's going to help. It's going to affect our teams.
Well, look at Palace. They lost 2 of them, didn't they, in the last game against Fulham, and you've got no chance with 9 men, never mind 10. Looking at the head-to-head, obviously Newcastle are firm favourites tomorrow. It's no disrespect to Leeds. It's just how the Premier League form is at the moment. We've won 10, drawn 5. Leeds have won 5 in the last 20 games that we played each other at St.James's Park. The odds, I love these things. So, but again, this is the first time I've ever seen the win percentage lower than what it would be normally. So 9-20, Newcastle should be winning 69% of the time, but we only win 67% of the time. Normally, ours is always higher for some reason. And I don't know why, but they didn't give any odds on Leeds, mate. So I apologise for that, but they're just focused on Newcastle for some reason. I wonder why.
Listen, I know why anyway. But it's surprising that you've not won against Leeds at home. Not since 2004 was the last time.
Well, we're gonna come up to that because we do have that. But we've got Mara who's decided to pop on.
Hello, guys.
Very, very late.
Hello, everybody. Yeah.
Learn to charge your phone before a show.
Yeah, I was out and phone was completely out and just had to charge so I don't get run of the battery mid show or something like last time.
What you need is you need a laptop.
Hi, Carl.
Hi, Mario. Nice to meet
you. I have a desktop computer, but I don't have a camera on it. So that's one of the things I plan to get a microphone and the camera. That would be much easier thing to do. Yeah, maybe in the future.
Yeah. You're very old school with your computer, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Riyadh doesn't make the decision, mate. It's the Stevie Wonder. I'm not going there. Leeds are getting their asses kicked. City was just warming you up for us. That's a bit harsh, Steve. Damn it, my bet for 3-14, only 24 minutes late. I vote for a ban.
Hi, Andrew. Love you too, mate.
Yeah, we all do, don't we? Here's a little bit more stats for you. So obviously we've won the last 5. We've actually won the last 6 in a row. We're on for 7 in a row, which is amazing. Leeds don't seem to deal in draws, though. It's either losses or wins, especially in the last 5. Everyone seems to be going for a Newcastle win. Obviously, there's been a few Leeds votes in there, but not many. But 12,035 people have voted yes. 3,000 have voted a draw, and 1,159 have voted for Leeds, making the percentage-wise 74 for Newcastle, 19 for a draw. And my maths needs to work out. That is what 7% for Leeds to win, I think. My maths is right. there's some quite interesting streaks in here. This is very good for working out a decent bet. No losses in 15, so you'd expect, Newcastle should be winning this game. Leeds don't like to keep clean sheets. It's been 12 games since they've kept one, as Cole rightly pointed out at the start of the show. More than 2.5 goals in the last 5 games, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5 for both teams scoring. We are 5 out of 5 for scoring first. Less than 4.5 cards, 7 out of 8, but this referee does like a card, so I'll be a bit worried about that one. Leeds 9 out of 10, so you would think both teams. Liverpool scored.
No, an own goal.
Oh, that's even worse.
He should have left it for the keeper and all.
Stupid Leicester. So yeah, these are good for putting a bet together. You would expect Newcastle to score first. You would expect Newcastle to win the game. You'd expect over 2.5 goals, and you would probably expect more than 10.5 corners. So if you're going to put a little multi-bet on, that's probably what you want to be looking at. As Cole was pointing out, the wins. So obviously 1-1, then we got beat 2-1. But we did have that massive win in 2004. We beat them 1-0, but then Leeds beat us again 2-0 in 2002. And then we had our little run. We were quite good back in the day. 95 beat them 2-1, 97 3-0, then a 1-1 draw. I think I was at that game in 98. Leeds beat us 3-0 in 98. It was a 2-2 draw, and then in 2000 we beat them 2-1, 2002 3-1. And then Leeds beat us in 2002 2-0. So on the balance of it, there's goals in the games, every game. But Newcastle seem to edge it a little bit on the past. So guys in the chat, get your predictions in, please, after seeing that. And we'll go back to the chat and find out where we were, see if there's any more good questions in here. Mauro hasn't shaved. He just had a wash. Harsh. Haaland is, I'm guessing that's Haaland. He'll end up with 50. He's not going to, I don't think he's going to write. Here's a question for the panel. I'll start with Cole. Is Haaland going to score 40 Premier League goals this season?
That is a good question. I don't know I don't think he could beat Ronaldo's record. I don't think so. He may just miss out, but I don't think he's going to get over 40 goals. I think it's going to be impossible. Maybe how teams will suss him out, to quite honestly, because he didn't score against Liverpool, and I think Bournemouth was one of the teams as well. So it will affect him a little bit if he don't score goals in one game, in one every 5 games. But we will see. Time will tell.
I don't think he'll get 40, and I think it'll be because he won't get enough games to do it. I think there's a little niggy injury, which he normally has once a season, and he might get rested for Champions League games and stuff like that. Lindsay, do you think he's going to get the 40 or not?
If he stays fit, then there's to be honest, I think there is a possibility. I mean, you saw the way he came out firing in the first few weeks of the season. Yeah. It just depends if he stays fit. And I do think the longer he's in the league, I think the more defenders will learn how to deal with him, So
yeah,
it's a tough one to call, really. I think there's a chance he could.
Yeah.
I'd probably sway more towards him doing it than in not.
Really? Ooh, what about you, Mauro?
I think he will come close, but won't break the 40 goals this season, maybe next season, but I think he will be close. He will be the he will win the scorer battle this season. I think that, but I don't think he will reach 40.
It's going to be interesting. A lot of people have got bets on this, which is why I've asked, and they've said, should they cash out? And I've said to everyone, when he got to 15, I think they were getting big cash outs. I was like, take the money and run. Take it, run. I don't think many people did, to be fair. Cole, thoughts on Jesse? Will he be back next month? And if not, and the wins don't pick up, how long does he have left?
I think Jesse will be back now. I think we are hearing some stories in the transfer window that he's going back to his old club at Salzburg with Maxwell Robert, another centre back that's going to be joining close. So that we have here that the terms has been agreed with the personal terms. It's just a financial aspect. I think it's been between like 10, 15 million. But we don't know. But like I said, we are trying to to figure out the left back situation, which we've had at the moment because we are struggling with the left back. And I know Kai Wagner has been linked from LMS, but the question is, can he fit in that mold? Time will tell. I think Jesse Marsch will have a long-term future because one reason, the 49ers ownership owns nearly the minority stake. They're likely to take over the club between now and September 2024. I think if they buy all right from Andrea Razzani, his job will be safe no matter what because they are trying to build a model under that to try to have a long-term manager going forward. I can't see Marsch going anywhere at the moment.
It's interesting. I mean, he did say in his interview he was happy. He likes the structure. He likes the way things are going. So it's very interesting. So Steve says 3-0 Newcastle. There's a lot of 2-0, 3-1. Facebook user says 4-1. So if you're on Facebook, just make sure if it comes up to accept StreamYard settings, accept that and we can see who you are. That's if you want us to. 5-1 to the Toon. 3-0 to the Toon, but a comfy one. 5-1 to Leeds. I think Andy Cole does have the most goals in a record season.
I think he does, yeah. I think there was a lot of people. He came out on Twitter the other day of questioning about it the other day, where someone said about his goals, and he came out defensive. He was very angry how that user was the way he said, don't think about my name. Don't think about my name. I did score more goals, and he came out and responded back to that. So
he had more games as well, though. That was the thing. When Andy Cole broke the record, there was a lot more games in the season. I think there was 40 in the season at that point.
Yeah.
I think it was, or something like that. 4-1. I think maybe a clean sheet, though. I think I'm going to be honest. I went 4-0. I'm not going to lie. Haaland will score 40 this season. Hi guys and Lindsay, hope you're doing well. We are Foxy. Thanks for joining us as always. Nice Toon shirt as well, Lindsay. 4-1 to the Toon. I think we'll batter Leeds 4-5-0. I'm going to put a bet on tomorrow and make my mind up then. We'll put Newcastle to win and over 3.5 goals. And that'd be a good bet for you, mate. Mazzini was pleased with that 3-1 loss from the social media. How did your fan base like your owner's reaction? I don't know what that's about, to be honest with you, mate.
I know. I actually did see that actually, and he's not everyone's cup of tea now, Mazzini, with most of the Leeds fans. To be quite honest with you,
right.
And there'll be a lot of pressure. That's why they want to go because he's taking his club far enough now, and he doesn't have the money. So, unlike the 49ers,
they've just scored another own goal, man. There's another own goal. The same player has just scored another own
fake
goal.
Colaccini.
Yeah, Davey said there was.
I
thought he was just talking about the first one, to be honest with you. But there you go. So Liverpool are now winning 2-1 with 2-1 goals from Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob, yeah. Unbelievable.
Oh my God, get him off the pitch. Get him off the pitch.
He wasn't great against
funny goal.
Oh God.
Really funny goal. It's Darwin Núñez put the lob over goalkeeper. It came up the crossbar and then he just scored in with an own goal.
Post and then he knocked it in. So all he had to do was whack it out the way. But now I thought I'm going for a brace here, guys. I'm on for a brace.
Oh boy. Not good.
Oh God.
Right. Let's get the predictions from you guys. Carl, what you going for? You praying for a point?
I'm praying for a point at the moment. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, there's going to be a lot. There's going to be goals. There's no doubt about it. Both teams can score, right? I think it'll be 2-2. I just want to say 2-2 draw. I just give it out of the way. Yeah, yeah.
You never know. Lindsay, what about yourself?
I say 3-0 because I can't see them giving up a clean sheet easy, to be honest with you. They seem to be on a clean sheet mission at the minute.
Yeah.
And with Botman at the back, I feel very, always very confident when you've got Sven Botman in your back line. And then behind there, they've got to get past Popey and all.
Yeah.
Oh, what a player Botman is. What a player. We've hit the jackpot with him.
Oh, massively. I had an argument with Steve last night about him.
Well, we all
He's
know
doing my
Steve
head in.
talks nothing but tripe, so
Well, exactly. Maura, what about you for the result?
I also feel there will be goals, but I have to keep with my lucky 1-0 prediction as long as it goes like this. So 1-0 Newcastle.
Yes, well said. I've gone 4-0 in my Super 6, so I'm going to stick with 4-0. I'm sorry, Cole. I just think we're going to outrun you, outplay you eventually. I think you'll battle, but I think you'll run out of legs. This was a game that I remember very, very well. I don't know if you do, Cole. It's when Solana scored the winner.
Yeah, I do quite well. I really do quite well, you know. So, yeah, it was a really good game, but unfortunately, that game cost us getting in the Champions League that season. It really did. So,
I don't think there's ever been an own goal hat trick, has there? Can you imagine? The odds must be like 1,000 to 1 or something.
I don't think he's going to be coming on for the second half, if I'm honest with you. I think he's going to be one of the halftime substitutions. I'll be surprised if he comes back.
I think there was an own goal hat trick. I think it happened with Sunderland a couple of years ago. I think it was in the 05. I think it was one of those players. I think it's one of.
If there was to ever be a team to do it,
it'll be Sunderland,
the biggest clowns in the country may as well be the ones to hold the mantle.
I don't know if it was Michael Proctor or something. I remember some of the name. I think he scored own goals, but 3, and he had a bad Yes.
Brilliant.
Crazy. I didn't even know that had happened, to be honest with you. Here's one for you there, Cole. One last question from the game. Cinciera needs to return quickly for Leeds. There don't seem to be much threat without him.
We have struggled without him. I think he's been that replacement that he's better on the right hand side, and it has been tough. It has been tough without him, with his injury. You know, at the moment, hopefully we can get back before end of January. But listen, we have got like for like players, but I think Cinciera is more the better player, out and out player than most of the players. He's the first choice.
Right. Interesting. Right, let's look at the league table. Last part of the show. You've got 15 points, mate. 2 points off relegation. I think the 3 that are in there could be the 3 that go down, but I think the 2 at the bottom, Forest and Southampton, are nailed on for me. And then it's a fight between, Wolves, Everton, West Ham, Leeds, Bournemouth, even Leicester, the way that they're playing. Do you see another worse team than Leeds in that bracket that makes you feel we're going to get out of this?
I think Everton will be the worst team. I think Everton, with not having enough goals, they really struggle. I think Wolves of getting Matheus Cunha, which Leeds will link with as well. I think that's going to be a big plus for Wolves. I think they will get out of it. Wolves, that win against Everton, was tremendous at the end. I think Everton's the worst team at the moment. I think the bottom 2 teams, Forest and Southampton, will go down. I just can't see them getting out of it. I think Nathan Jones got a big job in his hands. I don't know if he's the right manager for Southampton. I think Steve Cooper, and he's going to sign another 20 plus players in the January transfer window. I think it's too much for them. I think Wolves will get out of it, but I think everything could be gone.
Oh, there we go. Stephen Wright apparently was the only king.
That was it, Stephen Wright. That was it. It was Stephen Wright.
Stephen, right. Lindsay, what do you make of the bottom of the table? Do you think Leeds have got enough to survive, or do you worry for them?
Do you know, I think it's a very tight bottom of the table. I was talking to my mate Les about it the other day, and I said, I reckon Southampton are down.
I think so.
Are down.
2-2.
2-2. Get in, Leicester. Yeah. Lindsay, you're well behind.
Sorry.
To be honest, I wasn't paying attention. I got distracted.
I think I'm a bit in front of you from the last goal. Yeah, like half a minute or so. Don't know why, but it's a bit in front.
Streams.
Well, that's all right. They should be winning, though, shouldn't they? They should be 2-0 up.
Should be. But
it's Harvey Barnes.
Harvey Barnes. I like Harvey Barnes.
I think it was him.
Good. Well, at least they've got something to hang on to. They've scored 4 goals so far, bless them. Well done.
4 goals. Scored a goal. It's 2-2. I wonder what the odds on that would be. Sorry, Lindsay, you were saying you were speaking to Les and it's very tight at the bottom.
Yeah, no, it's a tight bottom of the table. Southampton are a shock for going down. They've been up in the Premier League for quite some time, I think Forest are just a bit of a disappointment, to be fair. Like they've really I know the fans are still, to be fair, they've got great fans because the fans are all still right behind them, aren't they? They're just
the first time
they're
back
just
in
glad
the
to be up in the
big
Premier
league.
League for a season, but I'm sure they would like to see them doing a bit better. But I do think we're in for a big shock one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think Everton could be a big shock one. I mean, West Ham would be a big shock one as well, to be fair, wouldn't it? Leicester would be. So I think there will be a
wouldn't
shock.
have put them as being there at this time this season, so that's a bit of a surprise for me, considering the way they started last season. And I know they did start tampering off towards the end of last season, but I expected them to start better than they have. So for me personally, it's a bit of a surprise to see them sitting there rock bottom. But I have heard that Hasenhüttl's lost the dressing room and stuff. So
I just don't think they've got a striker. I think that's their problem, to be fair.
Yeah.
Mauro, what about yourself? Yeah, it is.
First of all, please don't kill me, guys. It's not 2-2, it's 2-1. I didn't realize that half time started and this was the replay of their first goal. Sorry.
I was going to say, I didn't think
Sorry.
it was the goal.
I apologize. I was so excited. I saw the goal. I saw it was 2-2. So sorry.
Turning up late.
Yeah, definitely. I deserve the award. Yeah, definitely this time. Sorry, the halftime just started, and they started to replay the goals, and I thought that was a 2-2.
We've all done it.
Apologize. Sorry, what was the question? I lost a bit myself on that one.
Are Leeds in trouble, or do you think they've got enough to get out?
Yeah. I don't think they do. I think they will get out of it. I think the Southampton, Nottingham, and Everton are the ones that will be in most trouble. I think also that Wolverhampton will start playing and get out of this trouble soon. I think that Leeds will start playing and will finish comfortably ahead of the relegation zone in the end. Not just saying that because Carl is here, but because I really like the Leeds team. Always like them as my probably second team in the Premier League. And I think they have a lot of young players that are still getting used to the new system. But as the season goes on, they will get better and better, and they should have, at least for me, they should have no problems with the relegation.
Interesting. There's the top of the table.
Hey.
However, Liverpool winning moves them on to 28 points, but it still keeps them in 6. We are absolutely 21 plus goal difference, man. It's crazy just to say that.
What have you got a comparison to this time last season?
No, but if we did, I wouldn't even want to look at it.
It would be I reckon we'd probably have close to that, but minus this time last season.
Yeah,
other way around.
We've got some wallopings.
We did, yeah.
Oh, did we?
Oh, well, damn right we did. We never scored this amount of goals either.
No, I know, it's bananas.
I just can't believe we're third still. I really can't. But the big question is, Lindsay, can we maintain it?
I truly believe that we can, to be honest with you. I think Eddie Howe has got each and every one of them players willing to run through a brick bloody wall for him. And they're all willing to run through brick walls for each other. You just need to look at the way they scrap for each other. Like people that, I mean, we've always known Big Joe likes a bit of a scrap. But even seeing the likes of Fabian getting involved in that, it's really funny to watch because they're just so bonded, they're all playing for each other. They attack together, they defend together, they press together. They're just unbelievable. And I think it's going to take a lot to try and shake them, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to carry on, to be honest with you. I think we'll finish top 5. Worst case scenario, I think now. Mauro, what about you?
I absolutely agree with Lindsay. The squad morale, their will to play, their camaraderie, and everything is so high. And also our pressing is something that I've never seen before. I know that Liverpool were famous for their gegenpress for the pressing. Manchester City also play the pressing, but what Newcastle is doing this season, it's something that I've never seen from another team, and the morale in the team, and how Eddie Howe makes some, I would say, average players play well above their abilities. It's unbelievable, and I really think that we will continue in this manner, and that we will, in the end, manage to get top 4 finish, especially if we get 1 or 2 good players now in the winter window.
Yeah, I agree. Carl, what's your thoughts on Newcastle being a neutral? Do you think we could upset the top 4 this season, or do you think we might drop off and finish top 6 or top 7?
It's a tough one because if Liverpool can continue to get their resurgence as well, I think Newcastle is. I think that final spot's between yourselves, Spurs, and Manchester United, and that is going to be an interesting part. And look at Conte. He's going to be questioning would he stay at Spurs if they miss out on the Champions League yet again. Again, and miss out Champions League. Time will tell. I think Newcastle could, but the worst case scenario, I think they will be the finish in the top 5. But I think in a way, I think they will get Europa League. Maybe just miss out on the Champions League. But I hopefully they're proving wrong. They can get the Champions League and then towards the end of the season.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because one team's going to miss out if we finish top 5. At least one team's going to be really gutted. And then you've broken the mold, haven't we? It's going to be very interesting.
And this is the last time the top 4 will be for Champions League places, because next season it's going to be up to 7 teams. So this is going to be interesting. What happens? How many teams from England will get through with Newcastle? Qualify. So it's going to be a huge change with the Champions League format changing next season.
I've not understood the new change format, to be honest with you. So
it's a lot complicated, but 36 teams. But I think England and Spain and Germany get more teams in. So it's going to be a lot of changes really going for. Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's difficult. So
I remember when the Champions League was just for champions.
I
know. If we sign Leon's right back, the 19-year-old Brazilian right back Gusto, I think his ability, we could find the next superstar. But we've got Ashby as well. This is the thing. I don't know how many right backs we want to sign, but it sounds like we're after 4 at the minute. Anyone fancy resetting Shaw tomorrow to prevent another booking? Resting Shaw, Lascelles. I think Lascelles could come in and do a good job, but you don't want to split up our back 4 or our back 5 because Pope's part of it. Lascelles struggles with his concentration for 90 minutes. Yeah, potentially.
True.
Right, this is for the trolls. I love this video. It's my new favorite video. Get back in your bag. That's just for all the trolls out there. This can all fuck off. And some people on Twitter, they need to learn how to get a sense of humor, because I put a funny joke on there and I thought it was funny. But apparently talking about a woman's period is probably the worst thing I could have ever done on Twitter. But there you go. Snowflakes.
Do you know what it is? It's either... I think my dog's dreaming. I've just heard him start growling. He's having a dream. People just want to be offended these days, Baz. It's as simple as that. They're not happy unless they're offended. If you were to shy away from them talking about their menstrual cramps, I'm sure they'd turn around and call you sexist or something like that for not even being or uneducated, ignorant for not educating you. But there you are making a casual joke, and now, you're the worst person in the...
It was a pretty horrible joke, but I like Jim Jeffries. So
I like Jim Jeffries as well, to be fair. I just think people just need to grow up.
Exactly.
Exactly. Life's about having fun and having a laugh. Like, I don't understand why people are just determined to find something to argue about with everything. It's bananas. Yeah. Just laugh, enjoy yourself. Goodness me.
Exactly. Go on, Carl.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with you. If you can't take it, then go. Don't complain about it. Just have your.
Don't like it. Mute it. Block it. Do whatever. Hide it from your feed. Don't sit there on your phone winding yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And watch Jim Jeffries and watch Jimmy Carr and people like that.
Yeah.
That's where the jokes come from.
Learn to have a laugh at yourself.
That's where all the good ones come from.
You've got to laugh at yourself though as well, haven't you? If you
I always do.
Yourself,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd be offended every minute, wouldn't I?
I get called a witch daily by Steve, and you don't see me crying. I've just cast a spell on him.
Exactly. Oh,
Cursed him a few times.
Steve can be a funny one, can't he? Right, guys, if you've enjoyed tonight's show, I really enjoyed it myself. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button, the notification button to let you know when we're live. There is a membership option. It's in the top of the chat if you want to become a member. It's entirely up to yourselves, but we do our best to do good prizes. Unlike some other channels, we try our best to outdo everyone because we want to give back to you guys. That's the whole idea of it. So hopefully we'll have 2 tickets, fingers crossed, for the Leicester game in the Cup. If not, I will think of a different prize, I promise you. But we are trying to get a hold of some tickets to do that. I'm trying to get a hold of a ticket for myself as well, of course. So I come first. Sorry, guys. It's night from Lindsay. It's night from Mara. Carl, thank you so much for coming on. Carl, have you got a channel? I don't know if you have you?
Yeah, I still do.
No,
I've been on a break for so long because I told you my story today.
Yeah.
So I went for Bernardo's now just like a month ago, and then last week before Christmas Eve, we were told that the landlords decided to tell us you have to leave the shop. We're giving it to HMV. So now some of us are going to be relocated to other Bernardo stores in Edinburgh. So my future's sorted out now. It's all crystal clear. So, but I'm hopefully be back on my channel some point by mid-January because I want to get things settled down first. I'll hopefully be back on mid-January. So hopefully I will be doing some more content.
Brilliant. Well, check them out if you want to know more about Leeds, and we'll get you back on here again, Cole. We'll play Leeds again. Not a problem at all. But everyone else, hit the thumbs up button, guys, on the way out if you don't mind. Love the thumbs up. Until tomorrow for the watch along, which I'll be doing from 2:30 tomorrow. Come and join us then, and then we'll work out the other shows in the future because it's back to work on Monday.
I'm back on Tuesday.
I'm away to York on Monday, so to quite honest, so I'll have a few days to myself. So yeah,
enjoy. I'll be in the Kit Kat factory, so there you go. But thanks everyone for coming on as always, and we'll see you again tomorrow and then in the future. Laters.